Today is Wednesday, April 15th, 2026, and unfortunately, today is National Tax Day, which feels like one of those deadlines that show up whether you're ready for it or not. Welcome to This Day in History from, wait, that's random. I'm your host, C.L. Burns. In the early hours of April 15th, 1912, the Titanic sank in the North Atlantic Ocean. Just a few days earlier, we discussed that taking off from harbor, it had set sail as one of the most advanced ships ever built. Confident, engineered, designed to be safe. And then it struck an iceberg. At first, it didn't seem catastrophic, but over time it became clear that the damage couldn't be contained. Water moved from compartment to compartment, and what had been designed as protection wasn't enough. There weren't enough lifeboats, not because they didn't think about safety, but because they didn't expect to need them. And as the situation unfolded, the gap between expectation and reality became impossible to ignore. The ship didn't sink all at once. It happened in stages, which somehow makes it more unsettling, because there was time to understand what was happening, and very little that could be done to stop it. And sometimes change doesn't come from failure. It comes from someone stepping into a place that they weren't expected to be. On this day in 1947, Jackie Robinson played his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. He became the first black player in Major League Baseball in the modern era. This wasn't just a roster change. It challenged something that had been treated as fixed. For decades, the league had been segregated, not by accident, but by structure. And Robinson stepping onto the field didn't immediately change everything, but it made something visible. That the barrier wasn't unbreakable. What followed wasn't instant acceptance. It was resistance, pressure, scrutiny, but also momentum. Because once something changes in a visible way, it becomes harder to justify why it couldn't change before. And sometimes change doesn't come from conflict or pressure. It comes from something that quietly spreads. On April 15th, 1955, Ray Kroc opened the first McDonald's franchise in Des Plaines, Illinois. The idea wasn't new, but the approach was. Consistency, speed, replication. The same experience no matter where you went. And that idea scaled. What started as a single location became a model. And that model spread, not because it was forced, but because it worked. And over time, it reshaped how people thought about food, business, and expectations. Not through a single moment, but through repetition. If you step back and look at these moments together, something starts to connect. A system fails under pressure. A barrier is crossed. And an idea spreads. Different situations, different outcomes. But each one shows how change happens in different ways. Sometimes it's sudden. Sometimes it's resisted, and sometimes it grows quietly until it becomes normal. Anyway, those are a few of the things I ended up coming across while wandering through April 15th. Join me tomorrow and we'll see where the next date takes us. If you want to know more about me or the work I do, you can find everything at waitthat'srandom.com. I'm C.L. Burns, and I appreciate you stopping by.